Hi, my name is Phil Grande at philsgang.com. The 401k big lie. They tell you invest $10,000 a year for 30 years, compounded at 6% annually. You will have a grand total of $245,000 to retire. That is not true. That is not the truth. What they don't tell you is the hidden fees. There's 27 hidden fees in your 401k. When you're all done, you lose half of what you put aside for your retirement. That's right, half. And another thing, you're not allowed to do individual stocks in a mutual fund. And you're not allowed to make money when stocks go down. That's ridiculous. Would you buy a car with just forward and no reverse? Why would you ever be in a fund that you can't make money when the stock market goes down? Join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. There is only one talk show host, Phil Grande, who delivers both social and financial talk. Not even Hannity or Rush can deliver a 1-2 punch like that. That's Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Phil Grande is unique, the industry leader, the first talk show host ever to combine social issues and finance into winning stock market ideas. That's Phil Grande, philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Every month now, we get jobs. They give us the job numbers. We've been averaging, they tell us, 235,000 jobs a month. It's been a lie. That's a bogus number. The BLS, that counts the jobs, they use what they call the birth-death model system. What they do is they manipulate the jobs, so 40% of that number that you see is fake. That's right. If you take 235,000 jobs, the number really is 140,000. They bogus up about 95,000 jobs. But that's what goes on now on Wall Street. That's why you want to be a member of my gang, Phil's Gang, philsgang.com, because that way you get the truth. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Time is the one thing that we want more of. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey. They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Everybody was asking me, how did I know to short forward when it was November? And it was when Aunt B was telling us everything was fine. Well, what people didn't know is Aunt B was lying to us. Because when she was raising the rates, machinery sales were down 5.6%, computers were down 8.7%, communication equipment sales down 21%. I took a look at our chart and I saw that institutions were pulling money out of Ford. So we said, let's short Ford. And we did that in November, on November 10th, because my charts told me there was a big sell signal, and we took advantage of it. And you know that stock Ford has now dropped 17%. That's the return my gang has now, 17%. Don't follow any of the jibber-jabber from CNBC or the Fed. Follow me, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, there's nothing worse than you're investing in a stock and during the day something happens and you don't know what to do. You don't know who to call. Or you call somebody and they just give you a bunch of BS. Not here at Phil's Gang. We value every gang member. During the day, you got a question about your stock, you contact us. We have the best service in the world. philsgang.com. You're not alone. You're a gang member.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264.
Time is the one thing that we want more of as a St. Jude parent. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey.
El que St. Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow, they pretty much have saved us.
They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, people make it too complicated. Wall Street tells you the market cap and the trailing PE and the forward PE and price to sales to confuse you. All you need to know is, does the stock have volume? What's that mean? Energy. What does that mean? If you have people buying a stock, enough of the stock's being bought, it influences the prices to go up. Join my gang, philsgang.com. We're using charting, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264. The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grande.
The Open Market Committee has decided to leave the target range for the Fed funds rate at 1/4 to 0.5%. In determining the size of future adjustments to that target range, the Open Market Committee says it'll assess realized and expected economic conditions relative to its objectives of maximum employment and 2% inflation. This assessment will take into account a wide range of information.
God, I'm getting a headache. What they're saying is we can't raise rates. We can't raise rates. The economy is so bad, if we raise rates, just a little bit of increase in a rate, just if our government has to pay just a little bit more money on the national debt, the interest, this economy can go into a full-blown depression. See, people don't realize that. It's the debt, and our government is not going to raise rates. Why would the Fed raise rates and kill off our economy? We pay every year interest on our debt. It's about $220 trillion a year. We take in about $1 trillion less than we spend. That's how we keep making the debt bigger and bigger and bigger. We have to pay that debt. We have to borrow money. And we're only paying interest. We never put principal on it. That's how broke we are. That's how broke we are. You think they're going to raise rates? What did I tell you yesterday? I said, look at the bond yields. You always can tell what's going on. The bond yields were increasing. Anytime bond yields go up, that means investors who take shelter in the bond market are now dumping bonds. When you see the yields go up, they dump their bonds and they go to the stock market. Because when they see the yield goes up, and you see, they know that something is going to happen. There's going to be an announcement that's going to make the stock market go up. And the market is now up 76 points. Why? Because, again, they knew that they weren't going to raise rates. So that's why the big money went to stocks. And that's why I said to you yesterday, you've got to learn to trust the bond market. It always knows what the stock market's going to do. It always gives you the health of the market. Since you see those yields go up, the 10-year Treasury go up, you know investors are going to get rid of their bonds, jump into the market because they got some reason. They think that the market is going to go up. Now we can see. Because they also know that the government, the Federal Reserve, is the fire engine, is the rescue engine. Every time there's a problem, they always send in Federal Reserve to prop the stock market up, do more printing and printing and printing of money. In fact, we're doing so much printing of money right now that it's killing our economy. I get a laugh out of people who say, well, you know, if there's a real crash, I'm just going to run to the dollars. I'm just going to hide all my dollars. That's where I'm going to go. You're going to go to the dollar. You really think that's the place to go for safety? Are you nuts? Look, we need right now a new president, that identifies that we need monetary reform, we need Social Security reform. When they get into the Oval Office the first day, they got to get rid of debt, because the debt is crushing us, because the debt is causing us not to create good jobs. When you have such debt and you got to raise interest rates, and you're sitting there and you're at the Treasury and you spent $1 trillion more than you took in. Now you're going to raise rates. Rates are going to go up. And so I'm going to have to pay $220 billion in interest on our 20 trillion debt. I got to raise rates now. I mean, I got to pay more. I'm in real trouble here. I'm in trouble. And the problem is we're not growing the economy fast enough, because the more we print money, the more our debt goes up, our national debt, the more we pay interest, and the more interest rates go up, then all the money that comes in doesn't go to our programs, doesn't go to the programs, doesn't go to investment. See, we need the money that comes in go to investment, goes to fixing the roads and the bridges and so forth, go to training programs, job training programs, go to programs that create jobs, because we need more people working, so there is more money, more people are getting taxed that goes to the Treasury so we can pay our bills instead of keep on borrowing. That's the problem. So this interest rate, I knew they weren't going to raise rate, because the national debt is just, you can't. How are you going to do it? Since 2014, we have more stocks going down. Think about this. This is how bad this economy is. Everybody talks about how great the stock market is, how great the economy. Listen to this dope.
The U.S. economy has been fine. It's slowly just going up and up every single month. Job creations the first 2 months have averaged 209,000. Unemployment rate is around 5 or 4.9. The dollar has weakened a little bit, which is actually good. It helps U.S. Exporters and everything. The only caveat is really, of course, internationally, there's some issues out there.
Oh, my God. This guy, what is he trying to tell you? This is what they try to sell you. Isn't this amazing? This is what they try to say. Oh, things are good. Are you kidding? We just got our March and February revisions on durable goods and capital goods. Both were a total disaster. Capital goods alone down 16 consecutive months. And he says things are good? Sears closes 10 stores. Kmart, they closed 68 stores. He thinks things are good. For the last 8 years, new home sales have been stuck 500,000 a year. Earnings for the S&P, negative. Where's he coming up with this? Especially with the durable goods. When you look at durable goods and you look at capital goods, these numbers just came out. Those are some of your best numbers to see the health of the economy. Your durable goods, remember, is the big ticket items. Your big screen TVs, those sort of things, appliances, those kind of things. And when they're in the hole, that means people aren't buying appliances, they're not buying big screen TVs. That is terrible. But capital goods is the real problem too, because remember what capital goods are. Capital goods, that's like Caterpillar. They make bulldozers and forklifts and all this stuff. Or Boeing. They make stuff. They make stuff for businesses to buy. And guess what? Capital goods has tanked 16 consecutive months. Caterpillar, Boeing, all these companies aren't making stuff because there's no demand. Durable goods, there's no demand for TVs and appliances because there's not enough jobs being created. Where they're good jobs, where they can pay their bills at the end of the month, they have a little money left, they can save and invest. Know what they do? You know what people do at the end of the month? Because all the jobs that are being created are part-time, lousy waitress and bartender jobs. At the end of the month, people are taking their credit card. Everybody pays their bills. At the end of the month, they're $1,200 to $1,500. The average person is $1,200 to $1,500 short. The average guy who's making, let's say the family makes together, the husband and wife, $65,000. At the end of the month, they're about an average of about $1,600 to $2,500 that they couldn't make. They couldn't make it. They're short, so they put it on their credit card. What's this guy talking about? Everything looks good. I am so afraid if Hillary Clinton gets in, she is not going to do the reforms we need, especially Social Security reform. And we got to fix the debt. And she won't do that because she's out there bragging, saying, look how wonderful everything is. Look what Obama has done. So she's saying she's not going to fix Social Security. She's not going to reform Social Security. She's not going to reform the debt problem. So, again, just because you see the stock market going up, but remember, since 2014, it's not as good as it looked. From 2014, we have more stocks going down than up. That's right. In fact, in 2015, twice as many stocks were going down than up. Most people don't know that. And the only reason stocks are going up at all as earnings are going down is because the Federal Reserve is printing money and is doing accommodation at zero interest. This guy's nuts. We'll be right back. Phil's Gang. Join my gang, 15 past the hour.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. Yellen came out and told us that she is basically going to pull back the 25 basis point hike that she had in December, the quarter point, because the economy is bad. Then she's going to do quantitative easing. So what does that mean? That means as the economy gets worse, the market's going to go up. See, most people think when the economy's bad, the market should be going down. Just the opposite. Because when the economy is bad, the Federal Reserve comes in, prints money, gives it to the companies to buy their own shares back to push their stocks up. Because when the economy's bad, people aren't out spending and their stock doesn't go up. This is how they do it. A great opportunity. Don't miss it. Join my gang, philsgang.com. Become part of this wealth effect. philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. There's so much bad news out there. Let me give you some good news. The good news is you can retire when you're 65 years of age. You can live the same lifestyle you've come accustomed to. But you're going to have to make a change. And what's that change? To get rid of your 401k. It's a scam. It doesn't work. We've never seen more people pulling their money out of 401ks than right now. $40 billion just in this last few quarters. Because they know it doesn't work. So they're taking their money and stuffing it in the mattress. That's not what to do. Look, it's not about the money you put away. It's about how you invest that money. And clearly 401ks don't work. But it does work here at Phil's Gang. philsgang.com, where we just got a return of over 35% in copper.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. We're a teaching format. And boy, do we give good service. You know, buying a stock doesn't have to be complicated. The reason why Wall Street makes it complicated is so to make you think you need to hire them. You can do better without them, believe me, because you're not going to have those big fees. Come to Phil's Gang, where we'll show you an easy way to buy a stock. philsgang.com, where we don't make it complicated but profitable.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264.
We're on our best 2-year job creation streak in 20 years.
What are you, nuts? Who'd believe that? Let me tell you the truth. First of all, the 292,000 jobs we got in December 2015, and they told us the unemployment rate is 5%. Not true. You can't trust these people on Wall Street. You can't trust the press. What they don't count is, in December, for example, the 615,000 discouraged workers. A discouraged worker is a person unemployed, gave up looking for work, but this administration does not count them as unemployed when calculating the 5% unemployment rate. Instead, they classify the discouraged as marginally attached to the labor force, but they're not considered part of the labor force or part of the unemployment. That's why you can't trust what they tell you. If we back into 625,000, the real unemployment rate is 12%, not 5%. That's why you got to join my gang, where you get the truth and where we use charts. Join the gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Time is the one thing that we want more of. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey. They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. Every month now, we get jobs. They give us the job numbers. We've been averaging, they tell us, 235,000 jobs a month. It's been a lie. That's a bogus number. The BLS, that counts the jobs, they use what they call the birth-death model system. What they do is they manipulate the jobs, so 40% of that number that you see is fake. That's right. If you take 235,000 jobs, the number really is 140,000. They bogus up about 95,000 jobs. But that's what goes on now on Wall Street. That's why you want to be a member of my gang, Phil's Gang, philsgang.com, because that way you get the truth. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Radio Show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG.
Crashing into me.
Stock Corner is brought to you by the Phil's Gang video channel. Go to philsgang.com, click on the video channel graphic, and check out Phil's free videos on the market, economy, and current events.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang and our Stock Corner, sponsored by Walter's Way. Walter Scher is a wonderful book. He's the author. Check it out. Go to my site, philsgang.com. It's an award-winning book. It has the prestigious Axiom Business Book Award. That's the most respected award you can get when you're writing a business book. It's the award you want. Because anybody that reads business books, that's what they look for. If they don't have that, they don't read them. If you got that award, you got it made. Wonderful book. And Walter, when you read this about him, there is nobody like him. Nobody like him. What he has accomplished is incredible. Incredible. So please check it out. It's waltersway.org. Go to my site, philsgang.com. And his accomplishments were just iconic. Just iconic. So, and remember the book, every time you buy a book, the proceeds go to the Vera and Walter Scher Family Foundation. And it also goes to St. Jude. Now, how good is that? That's a pretty good deal. So check it out. All right. We're talking about how it's amazing today they didn't raise rates, but they weren't truthful about it. They should have been truthful. They should have said, boy, we're not raising rates because things really suck. And we got a problem. We got too much debt. And we spend $1 trillion more than we take in. And we have to borrow the difference. And when we borrow that money, we borrow all that money or print it or borrow it, then the money that we are going to go to fix bridges and roads and new schools and invest so we can get great job creation, good full-time job, we can't do that. So that money that we had to get you a nice job is gone because the people in Congress just spend too much money, and it's like cocaine. They can't stop. They love spending. That's terrible. It's devastating our economic growth. Now, thank God that even though our businesses, even though our stock market's going up, just think about this, thank God, the Federal Reserve continues to drive the stock market higher. They keep driving the stock market higher. They keep that stock market up. Even though our revenues, our profits, our earnings are going down. I just said a moment ago, our durable goods, our capital goods, the two most important items in the GDP. Terrible, disaster. Manufacturing's plunging. But see, they're going to keep the stock market going up. Because they have to fool all the countries. They have to fool all the other countries. Because remember, the dollar. The dollar's important. We're the reserve currency. Countries already are getting rid of our reserve currency. 20 countries already signed an agreement. Or 12 countries already signed an agreement that they don't want us, they're not going to have us as reserve currency anymore, the dollar, because they have no faith in the dollar. So what do? We keep on propping the stock market up so we can say, oh no, what are you talking about? We're doing good. Look at our economy. Look at the stock market. We're doing good. And they just got to hope that nobody reads the economic numbers. They don't see that existing home sales, housing starts, same-store sales, all plunging. Truck orders are plunging. Railroad orders are plunging. Wholesale inventories are plunging. 5-month low. Factory orders 10-year low. They got to hope nobody looks and go and look at the fundamental, the economics, fundamentals of our economy. They just got to hope they don't look, that they just look at the stock market. That's why they keep the stock market going up. And that's why it's important for you to make money while they're doing this. So as the economy gets worse, they're going to print more money, borrow more money to keep propping the stock market up. Because they've got to. Again, our dollar has been the global reserve currency. 10 countries have already signed a document to begin phasing out the dollar as the basis of trade. If this continues, you know what happens? Our economy will collapse due to the loss of our number one export, the dollar, will collapse. So that's what they do. They print money to try to, and they pump it in to the stock market, try to keep it up, so they mask how bad we're doing. Argentina tried that. Brazil tried it. Spain tried it. Greece tried it. They tried it. The old printing trick. It didn't work. Putin has introduced legislation. Think about this. Putin has introduced legislation that would deal such a blow to our dollar. It'd be incredible. If Putin gets his way, the U.S. dollar will be eliminated from the trade between nations, especially the Commonwealth independent states. There's like 10 countries. I can't pronounce their names. This would mean the death of the dollar. Death of the dollar. This is terrible. See, most people don't realize how important the dollar is. Most people don't realize that more U.S. dollars are actually used outside of the United States than inside our country. If the rest of the planet, like what Putin's doing, if the rest of the planet decides to stop accumulating dollars, which could happen, using them to trade with, to trade one another, and loan the dollars back to us at low interest rates, as they do now, we'd be in a world of hurt. People don't realize that. So if you think when the market crashes and the economy crashes and you're going to run to the dollar, you're out of your mind. You're going to run to metals, run to gold. Now, here's what we do in the meantime. See, the market's up 71 points. I told you this was going to happen because we saw the yield on the 10-year Treasury go up. Take, for example, XLI. All you had to do if you were a gang member, XLI, using the PT2, when it turned from red to green, so simple, XLI, those are the industrial stocks, there's a basket of them, you'd be up 11% right now. How about materials, XLB? You'd be up 20%. How about Caterpillar? You'd be up 25%. All you have to do is follow us. So easy. It's designed for people like you who are listening to me right now and have no time. Call 877-600-GANG. Try it. Just try it. We'll be right back. 28 past the hour, Phil's Gang.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Even if the federal funds rate were to return to near zero, the FOMC would still have considerable scope to provide additional accommodation.
Accommodation, what's that mean? It simply means printing money. What she's saying is the economy's terrible. We're going to claw back that 25% or 0.25% interest rate hike that we did in December. And I'm going to print a whole bunch of money so that we can give it to companies to buy their own shares back so they can boost the stock market higher. The problem with that money, it's 0%. That means that people lose their jobs. They go from full-time to part-time. From part-time, they go to poverty. That's the problem. We can't keep doing this. Here's the point. When the market is going up, it's always when the economy is bad. Join my gang, philsgang.com, so you can participate.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Everybody was asking me, how did I know to short forward when it was November? And it was when Aunt B was telling us everything was fine. Well, what people didn't know is Aunt B was lying to us, because when she was raising the rates, machinery sales were down 5.6%, computers were down 8.7%, communication equipment sales down 21%. I took a look at our chart and I saw that institutions were pulling money out of Ford. So we said, let's short Ford. And we did that in November, on November 10th, because my charts told me there was a big sell signal, and we took advantage of it. And you know that stock Ford has now dropped 17%. That's the return my gang has now, 17%. Don't follow any of the jibber jabber from CNBC or the Fed. Follow me, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. When was the last time you've gotten a raise? Been a long time. When was the last time you got overtime? That's been a long time. Sure, why? What people don't realize is we got two components out there that is killing your standard of living. Free money provided to CEOs from the Federal Reserve, and then the way the CEO is being compensated. CEOs are not compensated on performance anymore. CEOs are compensated on stock options. That's how they make most of their money. So as long as the Federal Reserve will give them money free, they're going to focus on the CEO buying shares back to pop that price up to make that stock option. That's why you're not getting paid. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Be sure to watch the Phil's Gang Show with Phil Grande, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on various devices like smartphones, tablets, your computer, and more. Get free access to the Phil's Gang Show right in your hands at home or on the go. Simply go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com and click on the Listen Live link. And we'll see you on the charts.
Time is the one thing that we want more of as a single parent. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey.
El que San Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow, they pretty much have saved us.
They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
There is only one talk show host, Phil Grande, who delivers both social and financial talk. Not even Hannity or Rush can deliver a 1-2 punch like that. That's Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Phil Grande is unique, the industry leader, the first talk show host ever to combine social issues and finance into winning stock market ideas. That's Phil Grande, philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call, 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. Every Friday, we're going to open up the lines. Why? Because I want you to participate in this program. I want you to participate in the stocks. If you have a stock, you don't have to be a gang member. If you have a stock, you want me to take a look at it, I'll put it on my PT2, and we'll check it out for you. Or if you have a comment on my commentary, or if you have a comment on what's going on in the country, or what's going on with our politics, I want to hear from you. That's this Friday. Every Friday, it's now open line. That's right, open line on Friday, so get your stock ready. And when Friday comes, I will put it up on the PT2 and take a look at it. You know, just looking at Caterpillar, how easy that would have been if you were a gang member. Busy person, working, kids. But you know you're facing retirement. You know you don't have the amount of money that you should have because your 401k is a scam. 401ks are all scams. But Caterpillar, all you had to do following my program, and we would have alerted you too. Caterpillar went from red to green. That means that the institutions started to put money in buying Caterpillar. How good is that? And then it went up, Caterpillar, 25%. But here's the good thing. Most of you don't stay with the stock market because you're scared. You remember when the stock market's crashed, and in your mind, I could wake up in the morning and the market's crashing. It doesn't happen that way. It takes a long time for a market to crash. We get a lot of messages from the market before a market crashes. It takes a long time. But people only think, they always think of 1987. I came back from lunch and the market was down 500 points. No. That crash started in January. It takes time. You can see when the economy is falling apart, for heaven's sakes. You can see when transports keep going down and down, but you see the Dow keep going up and up. They're producing more goods than they're making. You can see it. You got all kinds of signals. You look at your utilities. So simple. Utilities, they borrow every day. They need to borrow money every day. And they will always utilities will always let you know if interest rates are going to go up, which kills the stock market. Because they're the first ones to go up. Utility stocks will collapse the minute they know interest rates are going up. All you need is to you just got to have one place to go where it's so simple. See, you think you need to know, all these things to buy a stock. You don't. All you need to know is what makes a stock go up is if money goes into the stock. The institutions buy it. And if money comes out, it goes down. So you just got to know the difference between red and green. It's not hard. Caterpillar. XLB. Those are our materials. 20%. XLI. Industrials. 11%. And this program is for you who's so busy you just don't have time. Here, let me give you a number. 877-600-GANG. 877-600-GANG. I hate this part of the show, and I have to give you the number. I hate doing this, believe me. But I'm reaching out to you, and I'm going to help you so you can help St. Jude. That's what this has been about for 15 years now. Market's up 84 points. Who told you that the bond yield was going up yesterday? And that meant that the investors in bonds said something was going to happen today to rally the market. They knew that Yellen was going to say something. What did she say? She's not going to raise rates. She's not going to raise rates ever again. She can't. The country's in such bad shape. We got to have reforms. We got to have Social Security reform, monetary reform. It's unbelievable. We're in trouble. But in the meantime, you can make money while we're in trouble. Remember I told you how remember they kept saying oil is driving the stock market. When oil goes up, the stock market goes up. Buy stocks. When the oil goes down, sell stocks. Sell short. Remember that? And I said, what a bunch of nonsense that is. That's not going to last long. Well, it stopped. Oil went up to $44.66, the highest price this year. Now it's $45.34. And who told you oil was going to go up? Who told you to start buying oil stocks? Ask my gang. We first started to buy all the metals when nobody wanted them. We bought silver when nobody wanted, up over 100% now. I told you to do the same thing with oil. Schlumberger. Told you to buy Schlumberger. Nobody wanted oil, remember? How about OIH? Nice, another oil service stock. Here, I'll give you this one. It turned twice. It went from red to green. It went from $23. How beautiful is this? Up to $28. 23 to 28 went from red to green. That's a 21% gain. Say you got in late. Say you got a 10% gain. But here's the beautiful thing. See, this is what you're worried about. See, I'm not worried about stocks go up. They go up 67% of the time. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about when's it going to go down. I don't want to lose my money. Well, that's why this system works. Because it tells us when it's going to go down. It warns us when it's going to go down. It turns from green to red. And it did. It went from $26 or $27, rounded off down to $25. So we're able to make a 7% return by shorting it or get out of OIH altogether. Just say, I'm going to get out altogether, and when it turns green again, I'll buy again. And you did. You would have bought it at 27, turned green again. So it went from 27 to 30. That's 11% gain. So if you try it, just try it for 1 month. Invest in yourself for 1 month, and you will see it works. And you're going to say, why didn't I do this before? These 401ks are stupid. I can do this by myself. I know it sounds so silly when you say red, green, red, green. I know you don't believe it. I know you don't. And I certainly hate getting on here and say, call 877-600-GANG, 877. I hate doing that too. But it works. I don't know what else you're going to do. How old are you now? 55? How much money do you have set aside for? You got enough for retirement? You got $1.1 million? That's what you need. No? Let's help you get there. So we know things aren't good. We know that. And we know that the GDP number, think about this. The GDP number, what is the GDP? That's how you measure how well the economy is doing. We measure all the goods we produce. So the Atlanta Fed said our GDP for the first quarter is going to be 0.3. Yesterday they changed it, so they're going to move up to 0.4. How the hell can that happen when the economic numbers got worse? Not better since 0.3. Got worse. Are you kidding? I just told you. Durable goods, capital goods, a disaster. Worse. But now they're saying they're going to move up. They're going to move up our GDP, our growth that measures the growth in the economy. Are you kidding? 2 p.m. today. Aunt B comes out and announces she's not going to raise rates. Of course she's not going to raise rates. Why would she? She can't raise rates. You think she's going to raise rates now when she didn't raise them in April? At least the bond market told us that. See, if you're a gang member, you'd have known that. And if you were a gang member, you'd known what it meant yesterday to see the yields go up. You would have been ready to buy stocks today. The market's up 74. But isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing that we have all these people? They're so dangerous. So dangerous. Telling us how good the economy is. When bond yields are going up, as they have from the early part of this month, from 1.6 to now 1.9, that sends a message to the market. Demand for bonds are dropping because there is an event that will happen soon to push stocks higher. And that's what Yellen announced today. No further rate hikes. How beautiful is that? Now, people thought maybe she'd make a QE announcement, or maybe make an announcement that she's going to take and reduce that last 25-point rate she had, the quarter-point rate in December. She was going to take that back. But see, Yellen is dangerous. She's a dangerous person. She is so educated, she's stupid. See, she could believe her own rhetoric. That's the problem. Just like the Treasury, Jack Lew. Just like the Commerce Secretary, Penny Pritzker. See, they believe their own crap, that the economy indeed is doing good. And therefore they need to raise interest rates. That's what they tell us. Well, you know what? If they raise interest rates, that means the government's got to pay more interest on their debt. And that means you're going to lose your job. I'll explain when I get back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. Let me ask you, could you use a little extra money? Well, of course you could. Everybody could use that extra revenue to pay the bills, pay down debt, or save for retirement. With philsgang.com, we help you make that extra income in the stock market. For over 15 years, Phil Grande and philsgang.com helps folks who are interested in learning short-term and long-term investing by providing professional-level charting skills and strategies. philsgang.com is your #1 source to learn, invest, and profit in the stock market. And you can do this for only $49.95 a month. With philsgang.com, you learn how to invest in the market. You get daily investment coaching guidance, and you will learn to invest and trade with the skills and confidence of the pros. Just log on and get daily investment instructions and make profits. Plus, all philsgang.com material is archived for your convenience. Go to philsgang.com to join or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Call today.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. Listen to this contradiction.
February existing home sales down 7.1%.
American consumers, they have more cash on hand.
What a contradiction. Matter of fact, all the information you get from all the different financial programs, it's all contradiction. But here at Phil's Gang, I will tell you the truth. Join my gang, philsgang.com. You will enjoy it.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. It's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. You know, every day we hear from Wall Street, you turn on the TV, and they're telling us how the economy's great, everything's great. And these are the same people that run the 401ks who, with a 2% fee, take more than half of your money and put it in their pocket. You will never retire comfortably in a 401k. But try to convince 90 million people, it's almost impossible. People just don't listen. They get comfortable and stay with these 401ks. They don't work. You're not going to be able to retire. It's simple. Go to my site, philsgang.com. Join the gang, try it for a month, and we're going to show you how to use a chart. And that is going to put you in such a comfort zone of retirement.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Time is the one thing that we want more of. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey. They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, my name is Phil Grande, philsgang.com. The 401k big lie. They tell you invest $10,000 a year for 30 years, compounded at 6% annually. You will have a grand total of $245,000 to retire. That is not true. That is not the truth. What they don't tell you is the hidden fees. There's 27 hidden fees in your 401k. When you're all done, you lose half of what you put aside for your retirement. That's right, half. And another thing, you're not allowed to do individual stocks in a mutual fund. And you're not allowed to make money when stocks go down. That's ridiculous. Would you buy a car with just forward and no reverse? Why would you ever be in a fund that you can't make money when the stock market goes down? Join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. This segment is brought to you by philsgang.com.
The economy itself, since the last meeting in March, essentially the Open Market Committee sees an economy where labor market conditions have improved further, even as growth in economic activity appears to have slowed.
Really? Labor market has improved. Is that right? At this point, right now, more than 50% of all Americans working bring home less than $30,000 a year in wages. Yeah. Oh, things are really improved. Things are really doing good. Incomes fell for the bottom 80% of all income earners in the United States during the last 12 months. Can you believe that? Take child care expenses. Child care expenses for mothers have gone up from 6.3% to 7.2%. The price of ground beef has doubled since 2009. McDonald's Dollar Menu now includes items that cost as much as $5. The price of school lunches have gone up $3. $3. Are you kidding? For those Americans that don't own a home, 50% of them spend more than a third of their incomes just on rent. And this is the lowest home ownership we ever had in this country. And this is the nonsense they tell us. Isn't it amazing? It's crazy, isn't it? Now, Oppie knows the economy is not doing good, but she's going to be a loyal soldier. She's going to fall right in line for Obama to make sure Hillary gets elected. She's going to keep on masking this, and she's going to keep on pumping and pumping and printing and put money into the stock market to keep going up. I want you to participate. Just think, if she keeps rallying the stock market right up to the election, how much money we can make. Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? And it looks like that's what she's going to do, because how could you have a stock market going up when earnings are going down? Profits are going down. Profits are declining 9%, but stocks are going up 7 times faster than the earnings going down. This is crazy. How can you have earnings going down, profits going down, and stocks going up? Simple. Because why? Because the Federal Reserve will print and pump money into the market. So all we do is sit back and we take a look at our OIH, like I just did a moment ago, or our Caterpillar. It's up 25%. Just let it turn from red to green. You're busy. You work all day. You got a family. I understand that. Just call. We'll get you signed up and try it. If you don't like it after a month, you don't think it's that easy, forget it. But how can you have earnings declining like this? Durable goods declining. Capital goods, that's the big thing. Factory orders down, everything. But they're going to continue this thing to get her elected. Isn't that crazy? Crazy. Now, listen to this when you buy a stock. This is crazy. Listen, remember the guy from Whirlpool yesterday? Listen to this. This is why he's telling you to buy Whirlpool. This is how stupid this is.
Whirlpool is a company, of course, that sells appliances.
Oh, no kidding.
The appliance market has been down since the recession.
So he's telling you to buy Whirlpool because appliances have been down since the recession. That's one of his reasons.
The average age of appliances is old. Appliance sales should be strong.
Yeah, so because appliances are old, so buy Whirlpool because they're so old, sales should be good. But wait a minute. Are you kidding me? If incomes have fallen for the bottom 80% of all income earners in the United States in the last 12 months, how can they go buy a washing machine? That's why they're old. Good point. That's why they're old. See, it doesn't make any sense, does it? If you don't own a home, you won't believe what the rents are out there right now. That's why they don't go buy a washing machine. Poorest 40% of all Americans now spend more than 50% of their income just on food and housing. And then this dope says,
Whirlpool made an acquisition of Indesit, and there are about $350 million of synergy savings.
So they buy a company, and so there's going to be $350 billion in savings, or millions, whatever the hell he said. Synergy savings, thank you. Whatever that is. I don't care. All I know is if that's my stock, I simply put it up on my PT2, and all of a sudden it went from green to red on February 17th. I wait for the third day to get confirmation. Now it goes up from 141 to 191. Now, that's a 35% gain. Now, when she starts coming back down, which she dropped all the way down to 175 the other day when they told you to buy it, we already made our profits. But we'll know when it's over because it will turn red. We would have been out at 191 because we had a signal on our chart to get out. We had what we call a crossover, red through yellow. So easy. But he's telling you to buy Whirlpool because of this.
Whirlpool is benefiting from lower raw material costs.
Who cares? I don't have to know any of that. I just want to know, are the big institutions that have most of the stock, own most stock, are they putting their money in? Has it turned green yet? This is crazy. We have a rigged market capital system. We have a federal government. Just look who's up there. Just look, Bernie Sanders. Look at him. Look at these people in Washington. We have a federal government that's comprised of fraudsters, incompetent bureaucrats. They don't do a thing well. They're inefficient. They're slow. They're prone to fraud. We've never seen so much government fraud. We have a rigged market capital system. This is crazy. a compromise of widespread fraud, lying, and lying has become so second nature in Washington and on Wall Street. Fraud has become the number one component of our economy. And now you got people looking to socialism. They want everything free. That's the answer. Oh, inequality, they say. Inequality. There's too much inequality. We have too many people who got money, and we got all these people who have no money. Well, isn't our government, isn't this administration? They encourage you not to work. They tell you not to work. If you are on food stamps and you have a job and you decide you could get a little more hours in a week, they'll take your food stamps away. If you want insurance and they find out you're working, they take your Obama insurance away. See, we have an administration that tells people, don't work. We encourage you not to work. Clinton years, 45% of all personal income gains went to the top 1% of the population. Under Bush, it was 65%. Under Obama, it was 85%. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're telling me that Obama, 85% of all personal income gains went to the wealthy? I thought he was for, remember he said he was for the little guy, and he's a warrior for the middle class. Seems like he's a real warrior. He shot them all with an arrow and he gave all the money to the rich. What are you, nuts? Then you got Bush. He was directly responsible for the biggest loss in manufacturing jobs. Biggest loss ever. That dope. We now have a group of elitists that are running this country. 151 wealthiest people in the country who run this country. And due to their collective mindset, the world can't function properly unless the rich get richer. And therefore, all policy should therefore protect their banks. Yeah, the elitists. And then this government has now put people, all the poor people are poor because it's a mindset. It's a mindset. Where there's so much welfare now, so welfare, that people, they just lay back and collect their disability checks. Being poor in this country has become a mindset. Now, I agree with you, the stock market is crooked. It's nothing worse than the stock market. But so isn't the racetrack. So isn't Vegas. So isn't your dentist. How many times you go to your dentist's office and he goes, I got to feel that you got a double over there. Hey, can I see it? No. You got triples over here. Oh, I got to do a root canal. Everything's rigged. But at least the stock market's rigged in your favor. When it turns from red to green, you buy. You buy. And you say, how could the stock market be going up? How did the stock market keep going up when profits are going down? Because it's the Federal Reserve. They are making it happen. And as long as they make it happen, why don't you want to participate? I don't get that. So call right now, 877-600-GANG. Try it for a month. If it doesn't work, leave. Join the gang, Phil's Gang. And don't forget my good friend's book, Walter Scheer, Walter's Way. Join my gang right now.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grande, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
It's up to me.